All right, so here is a row of tomatoes, and here are a row of tomatoes. And the plants don't look that horribly bad. They were root bound though when we took them out, but I think they're gonna survive. It's supposed to rain today, which is gonna help these little bad boys out so much. But as you can see, our garden is doing really well, really well. So today I am going to tie up some tomato plants because our tomato plants are huge. They're loaded down with tomatoes, and it's been raining so much we haven't been able to stick our tomatoes. So yesterday we came out and we put up a cattle panels so we can tie our tomatoes to it. And some of our squash is actually so massive it has overgrown into the tomato row, as you can see right here. See, our squash is just overgrowing this little tomato plant. But I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna tie these guys to these cattle panels and probably cut back some of these squash leaves so they'll stop covering them up, because they're trying to smother them out. But you can see they're just loaded with tomatoes. And we have a couple that's turning down here. Get out there, Wasper. We got a couple that's turning down here. They'll be ready to pick soon. There's a morning glory. Or eat up with morning glories. They're just all over the garden. And we did not plant those and wish they would go away. But our tomatoes are doing really well. See how they were covered in dirt because they've been just laying on the ground because they're just so loaded down with tomatoes they just couldn't hold their heads up. So we're gonna help them out a little bit and tie them up. Okay, so we're gonna start with this tomato right here. This is the first one on the end of the row. Trying to pull out some of these morning glories. Man, these things drive me nuts. They're just everywhere. Anyway, this one hasn't gotten big enough to fall over yet, but it will if it's not tied up. And this is a spool of cloth. This is what we're going to use to tie them up. It's not really good to use like string because it will cut the plant. This I can tie around the plant. It's not going to cut it in half. When the plant gets bigger, it's not going to rub if the wind blows and cut the limbs off or anything, but it will hold it secure to this fence here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to do each one that way, all the way down this cattle panel here. So I'm going to take my cloth and I'm going to cut me a piece off. So I have a piece of cloth now, like this. And I'm just gonna run it through the fence. Find the bottom of this tomato. And pull it around. Okay, now that I've got this around the plant where I want it, see how the I've got it around the plant and through the fence. I'm just gonna take it and then I'm just gonna tie it. You don't want to make it really tight, but you want to make it tight enough that it's not gonna, once it gets way down with tomatoes, it's not gonna fall over. So see, I have it tied around the fence here and here, and we'll go around to the other side. You can see how I have it up on the tomato. So this branch right here has tomatoes on it, this one here. So this is gonna get heavy and want to fall. So this is right there where it's gonna help it from falling over and being on the ground. And as it gets taller, I can add more and tie it more to the fence as it gets taller. But right now, That's all it really needs, is just to be held up right there for right now. So we've got several of them tied up here to the fence, as you can see. And somehow I skipped this one, so I'm gonna have to come back and do it. Went right from it, skipped it, went to the next one. Not sure how I did that, but I did. Anyway, we're gonna come back and fix this guy. But we also trimmed some sucker leaves off of them so they're not as bushy as they were. But I'll show you what it looks like on the other side. Now, it looks like this. You see the green tomatoes? They're off the ground. They're not gonna rot because they're laying on the ground. Because if you have some rain or a lot of rain, your tomatoes are on the ground, they're definitely gonna rot on the bottom for being on the ground. Got them all tied up here. We've cut sucker leaves off of them, off the bottoms here, that just, they basically suck the nutrients out of the plant, and the plant does a lot better if you cut those sucker leaves off and trim them down. It does make them look kind of bald on the bottom, but that's all right. They'll keep on doing what they do. But we just took the cattle panels, put them up, tied the tomatoes to them. I also went ahead and picked our green beans today. My grandmother come out and said, I sure wish I could help do something in this garden. I just want to help do something. And she was out here trying to pick these green beans on a walker. So, oh, there's one I missed. So I told her, you just go inside and sit down, and I'll pick them green beans if you will snap them. She said, I'll fix them if you pick them. So I went ahead and picked them, took them to her. Guess what we're having for supper? Fresh green beans, straight out of the garden. If you guys are liking our videos, go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave us any type of comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. I try to reply to every comment that's made on our videos. And I hope all of you have a blessed day.